Hello, everybody. Jeff Gayduk here from Leisure Group Travel, and I'm happy to be with Sherri Guiborat from Mayflower Cruises and Tours today. Sherri, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jeff. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, I see that you're in the office today, which is awesome. People getting back to work more and more these days. You can tell I'm lost. I'm out in the middle of the desert, and you need a good tour guide when you're lost like I am. So luckily, I have one in Mayflower today.
You won't get lost on a Mayflower tour. Yeah, you may be on a mystery, but you won't be lost.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'm super excited to be sitting down with you today as we discuss the back to touring. And I know Mayflower's got a huge lineup that's scheduled for 2021 and 2022. Can you talk just a little bit before we get started about some of your preliminary plans? I understand you've got some upcoming groups or groups that are going to be on the road.
Yes, absolutely. So we've got our first groups going out on March 26th will be our first departures since the whole pandemic has started. So we're very excited. You know, one of the things that Mayflower has made the decision to do was to make sure that when we return to travel, that it was the right time, that we felt, the travelers would be safe, the group leaders would be safe, that we had, all of the knowledge and experience under our belt to be ready to bring people on the trips that they've envisioned, that they've saved for, that they've paid for, and with the least amount of interruptions. So we're excited to be sending out our first trips on March 26th.
Nice. Very, very good. Let's talk a little bit about some of the advantages that Mayflower has in the marketplace and some of the reasons why groups choose you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mayflower has been around since 1979, 42 years in business. I personally just celebrated 30 years with Mayflower last week. So I have seen the bulk of the Mayflower years, and groups are really where it's at with Mayflower Tours. We do specialize in group travel, working with the travel professionals. Especially during this whole last year, we have stayed strong with our sales team of salespeople from coast to coast. So they've been here to support and help group leaders through everything that we've had to deal with in the last year. With traveling with Mayflower, one of the things that I think makes us unique is the fact of the amount of local guides and historians that we put on our trips. Our tour managers are great, and they are professional tour managers that are selected for their knowledge of the area. But I think it's even better to enhance your trip with those local guides and historians. Definitely, if I'm going to the South, I want to have somebody who knows the folklore, the stories, the in and outs of the area, who actually have that Southern drawl, versus
Absolutely.
somebody from Chicago. You certainly don't want somebody from Chicago taking you to Charleston and Savannah.
Good point. Talk a
Uh,
little bit about your involvement with the Scenic Group. I know there was a transition of ownership a couple years ago, and
yeah,
maybe some
yeah.
people that aren't familiar with Scenic.
Yeah, so we've celebrated 3 years with the Scenic Group, so it's been very exciting. Our ownership with the Scenic Group has allowed Mayflower to be able to expand their product line of river cruise offerings, as well as a couple of new yachts that are going to be coming out. So, we've been doing river cruises for many years, and we've been chartering our ships, but it was important for us to align ourselves with a company that knew the importance of groups and would take us to the next level with river cruising, which is a very popular travel style. So knowing that we own all of our own ships and the staff on the ships, though they are all Scenic employees, just like I am, gives us a good handle as to making sure that the end product that we're presenting is exactly the way Mayflower intends it to be.
Executive staff with your 30 years, so we've got 370 with the rest of the team. I don't know how we
Yeah.
want to how do we divvy that up?
How do we divide that up? Yes, we've got an executive staff here at Mayflower that spans the industry and knowledge, whether they've worked with airlines or whether they've worked with, computer online travel companies or, just different entities, tour operators, travel agencies. We've got some who have come from attractions and destinations, just all of our knowledge that is able to be pulled together with this executive staff that I've had the pleasure of working with for many years has just shown that we are one of the leaders in the tour and travel industry.
And then finally, tour programs.
Yes. So, our offerings, we have grown so much. We do span the globe, going to all continents, including, with our Eclipse yacht expedition sailing does allow us to go into several other continents that maybe Mayflower hasn't always been in. We are seeing definitely a growth in the domestic product coming off of 2020. That seems to where people want to stay a little bit closer. But as we're planning into 2022 and 2023 with our groups, we are seeing the need and the demand for international travel to want to come back in the years to come.
Well, let's go ahead and talk about some of these programs you got lined up for groups. First and foremost, Red Rocks to Rockies.
Yes, this is an exciting new 7-day program. And, what's really cool about this is we've partnered with the Rocky Mountaineer. And Mayflower has been working with the Rocky Mountaineer up in the Canadian Rockies in Canada. And with the demand for more trips here in the United States, they have a train now that's going to be going from Denver to Moab. And so we are excited to be able to partner with them. We're going to begin this program as we fly into Las Vegas, where we'll spend a night in Las Vegas, and then we're going to visit 4 national parks. National parks are always a popular destination. Great to be outside to see nature. So we'll be visiting 4 national parks on this program, including Zion, Bryce, Arches, and then we will end with Rocky Mountain National Park. So we'll spend 2 days on the train. We're not going to be sleeping on the train. We're going to be able to see all the beautiful sights through the Canyonlands and through the Red Rocks as we travel on the Rocky Mountaineer from Moab. Get off the train, spend a night in Glenwood Springs, and then get back on the train for our final leg into Denver and our last 2 nights in Denver with visiting Rocky Mountain National Park.
Cool. Well, even places like Glenwood Springs, the phenomenal hot springs they have there that may not be on people's radar. You've tucked in some of these activities and these travel opportunities that I think are really going to surprise people.
It's a unique and fun place to make that train stop. It's a little bit different, but it does give you that spa-like feel, yes.
Okay, well, cool. That sounds like a fun, obviously good old US of A, train travel, and Rocky Mountain Air is a real coup. So super excited about that program. You talked about river cruising earlier. Let's talk about what you've got going on the Rhine.
Well, this is one of my favorite river cruises. I love the Rhine River. I love the sights on the Rhine River. This is an 11-day program. And I think what Mayflower does to make this unique on our Emerald Waterway ship is that we include 2 nights on land. We know that if a group's going to travel overseas for a river cruise, that they're going to do a pre or a post night. So we've already taken that planning away from them and have it all worked out. So we'll fly into Zurich. We'll spend 2 nights in Switzerland, do some touring in Switzerland before we motor coach up to Basel, Switzerland, where we're going to board our Emerald Waterway ship for a 7-night cruise along the Rhine River. So this trip is going to take in 4 different countries. So we're going to see Switzerland, France, Germany, and then ending in the Netherlands in Amsterdam. Awesome. So plenty of great touring. I love traveling, on our Emerald Waterways with the inclusions that we have. Wine, beer, and soft drinks served with lunch and dinner. So fill up those glasses, enjoy the scenery as you pass by. We will go off and do touring in all the wonderful ports that we'll be stopping in. We'll have a local guide as we break off into smaller groups. Everybody will have their own personal listening device so that, we can wander around and look at all the wonderful architecture and buildings and scenery, but being able to hear that local guide while we're touring, be able to spread out a little bit as well. So a lot of great amenities, some wonderful Emerald Plus experiences on the ship. So we will do some unique things to enhance the area, like a Black Forest cake demonstration and tasting, and we also have some active touring for those who want to be a little bit more active on our Emerald Waterway ship. So they can take part in some hikes or some active excursions with our activities manager. So you can do as much as you want or as little as you want, but a lot of great touring along the way, ending up in Amsterdam, one of my my favorite cities of Amsterdam to be able to explore that city before flying back home to the US.
Yeah, just to bookend the trip with Lucerne on the front end, and that's the image in the upper left-hand corner, one of the most beautiful cities in the world, and Amsterdam, which is maybe my favorite destination. I know there's a few that are vying for the top spot, but great way to begin and end. And then, of course, in the middle, you've got that great river cruise sandwich. So that's just a wonderful way to spend vacation.
It's nice to unpack once and just enjoy the scenery.
So Sherri, let's hop back over to the U.S. here and talk about Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, and Mount Rushmore.
Well, Yellowstone. I mean, maybe we all have visited the national parks in Yellowstone, whether we were in the back seat as children with our parents, or if, we've taken our kids and you didn't really get to enjoy the national parks because you were driving and the kids were yelling in the back. Well, here is our opportunity to go visit the national parks, to visit Yellowstone, which is, of course, the oldest or the first national park. We're going to spend 2 nights right in the park. I think that is one of the great highlights, to know that we're going to stay at the cabins there in Yellowstone,
Oh,
to do the full circle tour of Yellowstone with a park ranger, to be able to experience the very first national park here in the United States. So it's exciting.
Mount Rushmore, obviously the Deadwood region, Black Hills. I know they had a good summer last year. Should be very powerful going into 21 and 22 as well.
Yes, definitely. You've got some great bookends with being able to see Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, and Mount Rushmore, to see the beautiful monuments throughout our country.
So now you guys start in Denver on that trip, at Denver to Salt Lake. Is that the routing?
That is correct. Yes, Denver to Salt Lake, visiting areas, and staying in Jackson Hole. If you go during the summertime, you could be able to check out the Jackson Hole Rodeo. If you're going in the fall, then we'll go to the Jackson Hole Playhouse. Ending in Salt Lake City, where we'll do some touring of our, kind of to end our Western trip here, where we'll see the historic Temple Square. We'll walk through the footsteps of the Mormon settlers and see the wonderful city of Salt Lake.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's go on a little bit, talk about New England, Cape Cod, and autumn foliage.
Well, with a name like Mayflower, who can't go with anybody else to New England, right?
No, it would be wrong, very wrong.
Right, it would be very wrong. So you've got the beautiful autumn foliage, and this program is like your traditional New England autumn foliage trip. We're going to visit 5 New England states on this program. It's an 8-day tour. We'll fly in and out of Boston. We've got 2 nights included in Cape Cod, where we will take a ferry over to Martha's Vineyard to see how the rich and famous have vacationed. Speaking of the rich and famous, we'll go to Newport. We will also tour the Vanderbilt's Breakers Mansion. So we'll be able to see again how the elite families have lived. Seeing Keechee Gorge State Park, we'll see the Kananaskis Scenic Byway. But what I also like is to be able to see the autumn foliage from both rail and from the water. So we'll take a trip aboard the Conway Scenic Railroad.
Cool.
And then we'll have a tour where we're going to go off onto Lake Winnipesaukee, and we'll cruise aboard the Mount Washington, the MS Mount Washington, and be able to see the beautiful colors from the water as well. So it's a great end to a autumn foliage trip.
I would think that inventory's got to be tight on New England and Cape Cod, just all the people that want to get out and explore nature, such a historic part of the country. So demand
Yeah,
pretty high for that destination.
2021, yes, 2021 is almost sold out. We do have space on a couple of departures, but then really starting to make your plans for 2022. And knowing groups, we always know that they're planning a year, a year to almost 18 months in advance. So they're starting to think about 2022 at this point.
Good, good. Okay, and as they should be. So
Good.
let's wrap up our tour of Mayflower 5 product with Iceland.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to go to Iceland, and Iceland has been a very popular destination for the last couple of years. And I really think that this trip of Iceland, Land of Fire and Ice, It really kind of gives you a great view of Iceland because we're going to travel the South Shore and we're going to be able to see the South Shore, but then we're also going to do the Golden Circle. And then, including with that, we'll do some touring in Reykjavik as well as going to the Blue Lagoon, as you see that wonderful, relaxing picture there at the bottom of the screen, to take in those tranquil waters of the Blue Lagoon. But 5 nights at one hotel and then doing that hubbing and spoking out, like I said, to be able to do the traditional South Shore touring and the Golden Circle. The scenery is absolutely like nothing we've seen here before. The people of Iceland are so wonderful, so kind and nice. Um, but it's a beautiful touring to be able to experience this area.
Nice. So, how long is the flight from the US to Iceland? Do you recall?
So it's really it's not that long at all. It's I want to say it's about 5 hours from New York.
Okay,
Yeah,
so not bad at all. So definitely
yeah.
shorter than Europe, of course,
Oh yes, definitely. It's amazing and how quickly you arrive into Iceland.
it's a destination that fascinates me. Never having been there before, I've seen in the last couple of years, it's really caught on in popularity. Having been there, what would you say kind of captured you that's either unique or like, oh, I get why people really love this place?
Well, I think it's the people of Iceland and how they are able to sustain, the farming in Iceland. I mean, with those cold temperatures, the fact that they're able to grow things in these greenhouses and above the ground, they have to sort of, you're not growing your tomatoes underground. They're growing them in these greenhouses and the sustainability of this area, just the cleanliness of it all and the beauty. And you definitely, I mean, if you're able to be able to go to see the Northern Lights, um, that is a sight like you've never seen before.
And you guys have got some inventory for 21 still?
We do still have some inventory for 2021, yes, and then as well into starting to fill up for 22. But it's a 7-day program, and staying at one hotel is also a great advantage to know that you can unpack and go off and do your touring.
True. And I think they've also got the vaccine passport. So if you're vaccinated, you don't have to quarantine like some other foreign countries
Yes,
have. So
that
that kind of puts them on the radar for this year.
Definitely. Iceland has advised us that they have opened up. They are ready for all the vaccinated travelers from the U.S. The COVID numbers in Iceland have been extremely, very, 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 very low. So they are open and ready to be able to take the U.S. traveler.
Cool. Okay. Well, there we go. If somebody's looking for some short-term opportunities, that certainly might be Iceland for 2021, at least internationally.
Yes.
Um, so Sherri, let's transition a little bit. Great products. You have a little more heavily skewed towards the U.S., obviously, but river cruising still very much a viable option. Iceland, great choice for 2021 and 22. But let's talk about why groups do business with you and some of the advantages that you guys have in the marketplace.
Some of the advantages of working with Mayflower Cruises and Tours on groups is, first of all, there is no upfront deposits or money required to be able to promote, to black space and promote a trip with Mayflower. And it's a one-stop shop. We understand that we don't want to be going to different entities to be able to put our tour together. So to be able to have the air arrangements made from your hometown, including transfers, both local transfers as well as transfers in the touring area, to know that that can all be included for your group so that you have this one whole package to be able to sell to your travelers within your club or your organization. I truly believe our travelers protection plan is one of the most affordable and comprehensive plans in the industry, to know that on any of these land programs, like the domestic ones that we talked about or Iceland, they can cancel for any reason and get all of their monies back, less the cost of the traveler's protection plan, less that premium. I mean, they can do that up to the day before departure, and
Nice.
knowing that they have that flexibility and that comfort, I think is very, very important. Um, you know, working with the group leaders, we understand the needs of the group leaders because we've been doing groups for so long. We understand the importance of having that group leader travel with their members, with their travelers. So, of course, we do offer the opportunity for free travel for the group leader. If money is important, they can earn money on each of their paid travelers. And I think that our promotions, all of the trips that I talked about here today, we do offer free airfare on those programs. So if you're interested in promoting any of those trips in 2022, make sure you sign up and we start the promotion so that you can take advantage of that free airfare on those trips. It's a great selling tool for your travelers as well. Professional travel presentations. We have, as I mentioned, a wonderful sales team from coast to coast that works exclusively with the groups and would love to come out and do travel presentations to meet with your travelers, excite them about the destination, show those pictures, offer those special promotions, whether free air or a special travel savings for your group. We've been doing a lot of Zoom presentations,
Yes.
we as we sit here today on Zoom, we know that we haven't all been able to be together, but we have found ways to get together, and we've done that through Zoom. So whether you want to do an in-person presentation, or if we've grown accustomed to just doing our presentation and sitting, behind a screen, we can do that either way. And our marketing team here at Mayflower Cruises and Tours, they are the best of the best. And we've got a lot of wonderful personalized selling tools to help that you be successful in your promotion. So we can create, personalized flyers. We can assist with self-mailers or postcards, booklets, posters. We can record presentations, help you with social media, online bookings, whatever it is, and we are here to help you. We've got a full support team of both marketing and an inside sales support team, as well as your business development manager that's local to you in your town, right up to me, the vice president of sales. We want the group leaders, we want them to be successful and get their groups out traveling again.
Nice. So I think that the free year obviously is going to be a huge draw, but your sales team has got to be super excited about getting back on the road again. They've been probably cooped up too long inside their houses as well.
Yeah, certainly, there are some regions that are open a little bit more than others. So there are definitely the business development managers are on the road, but they're sure to get out there in the next couple of months. And I know the group leaders, they're excited to see our faces as well. So it's mutual.
One question I wanted to ask you as we end this portion of the presentation, Sherri, is as we've got the contact information up on the screen, is any common ingredients or anything that you've seen from groups that have been successful in relaunching, or any anecdotal stories that you think might help somebody who's trying to get themselves, back up and running again and get their travelers motivated?
Well, and that's just it. It's been so long since we've all been together. And I have seen great success with doing the Zoom presentations. There's a lot of groups that have maybe started a little slowly, starting with promoting some trips here in the United States and then branching further out and doing international destinations. But it's been those that have kept in touch. If you haven't been in touch, then let's just set up a welcome party to get back and just loosely talk about travel. I'm sure that there's a lot of people who have questions and concerns, and maybe it's just an open dialogue. Maybe it's not talking about a specific trip with your group at this moment, but maybe just opening it up, getting together, letting them ask some questions so that they can understand that their safety and wellness is on the top of priority of all of us. And starting that getting together. I have seen that there have been people who have been successful with social media to start talking about putting out there some destinations, maybe some old travel pictures of destinations that the group leader has been to again start to ignite and engage their members with talking about travel. So, if you haven't been in touch with them in a while, then let's start slowly. Let's start slowly with something small and just a little bit engaging. If you've been in touch with them throughout this entire year, then they're ready. The pent up demand is there for travel. And as we all, as more and more of us get vaccinated, we are ready to get out there and explore again.
Awesome, Sherri. Thank you so much for your time today. Let's go ahead and open this up to the audience and see if we have any questions.
Thank you, Jeff. I would love to answer some questions.